Our final speaker for today is Dr. Hosseini, another distinguished academic from our university. Please welcome Dr.
Without further ado, let me start. Today, as we gather here, I first want to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of this land, the Ababakal and Warramai peoples, and to acknowledge that their sovereignty has never been ceded. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land. In the same spirit of recognizing historical struggles for sovereignty and dignity, we stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people of Gaza. For approximately 7 consecutive months, they have endured mass atrocities, displacement, and unspeakable violence, all overshadowed by international politics. Despite the overwhelming call for peace from numerous communities across the globe, the path to a ceasefire remains obstructed by the vested interests of powerful capitalist states and corporations. Shame. Today, we affirm our support for the undeniable rights of Palestinians to live in peace on their own land and homeland for Muslims, Jews, Christians, and all other ethnic groups who have historically coexisted there. We understand that this can never happen in the context of an apartheid, settler, colonialist regime that is built based on ethno-religious supremacy from within and functions as the strongest military base from without as the core implementation of Western imperialist plans in that region. It has become clear to many that lasting peace in the region cannot be achieved without dismantling the systems of apartheid and occupation, much like what was necessary in the case of South Africa 3 decades ago. True power resides with the people. And once again, we are seeing a global surge of voices taking decisive steps to tackle this crisis at its roots. I also wish to commend the UN students for their brave initiative in organizing the Gaza Solidarity Encampment right here at Callahan campus. This encampment is not just a local event. It is part of a global movement that is historically significant. This movement is about defending life itself, reclaiming it from the destructive grips of capitalist forces and oppressive state mechanisms. Today, it is clear that all forms of life, human and beyond, are under severe threat. Genocide and ecocide are two sides of the same coin. That is the capitalist machinery that relentlessly destroys life. The supremacy of capital funds and fuels ethnocentric supremacy. To negate the latter, we must also confront the former. I praise our students' bravery in standing up for the lives of hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians who face enormous challenges to survive in the context of weaponized mass starvation and normalized mass killing. They are taking a stand despite the obstacles presented by institutions that should be safeguarding humanity's concerns. The humanitarian crisis in Palestine has not only exposed the atrocities faced by its people, but has also turned a mirror on our own society, revealing a crisis closer to home. May 15th this year marked Nakba Day, an event similar to what Aboriginal communities recognize as Invasion Day. Nakba, meaning catastrophe in Arabic, began 76 years ago with the establishment of the State of Israel, which was accompanied by over 70 massacres, the displacements of more than 750,000 inhabitants, and the loss of approximately 15,000 Palestinian lives. Today, the word Nakba transcends its noun form and historical past. It has become a verb that defines an ongoing process extending beyond Palestine's borders. Nakbatization, I argue, represents a continuing catastrophe impacting all facets of human civilization. It is a crisis of systemic failure within the very heart of modern institutions, our media and academia above all, which were established to serve as pillars of democracy through independent inquiry and truth-telling. These institutions are meant to guard, but fail to guard, more than human life by fostering informed public discourses and holding power to account. The international Gaza Solidarity Encampment movement, now at the forefront of the effort to end Israeli apartheid, is at a critical juncture. It faces a choice: limit its demands to local policy changes in academic institutions, changes that, even if successful, could easily be reversed with a simple stroke of a pen, given the growing undemocratic nature of universities and lack of transparency, or additionally, broaden its scope by reclaiming representation and fundamentally reforming their associations from the ground up. This expansion could also involve forming new associations alongside their teachers to truly reclaim academia in longer term. With 3 decades of experience in social movement studies, I offer my humble view. This moment is historically significant. It presents a unique opportunity to forge new networks and pathways for more emancipatory action. Moreover, it gives our younger generation not just the chance to participate, but to lead and institutionalize their cause. Advocating for the rights of Palestinians to exist freely, to claim sovereignty in their chosen form, and to bring to justice those guilty of war crimes and genocide is intrinsically linked to our broader quest for freedom. This fight extends beyond geographical boundaries. It confronts a global system entrenched in colonial practices that exploit both people and the planet. We are all Gazans transcends mere solidarity. It unveils the harsh truth of a world where the ruling elite and capital reduce everything of true value, including education, to commodities for their exploitation, appropriation, and extraction. It is a call to recognize our shared vulnerability under these oppressive structures, but also to unite us on our cause for transforming the cruel capitalist systems domestically. The model that seems like a potential solution for ending the Palestinian crisis can also serve as a blueprint for emancipating our own societies in the West. Palestine is pioneering a path, if properly recognized. Using the Abrahamic mythological language, Palestine is today's burning bush, ablaze for nearly a century, yet miraculously never consumed. The burning bush is talking to us, giving us the mission to challenge the modern-day pharaohs. Like South Africa's apartheid regime, the Israeli apartheid system needs dismantling to be replaced by a deeply democratic confederation of autonomous communities of various ethnic and religious backgrounds. This confederation should enable the return of millions of Palestinian refugees and diaspora to their ancestral lands, allowing them to help build a new democratic and multicultural society. This society should be grounded in the ethics of care and collective stewardship of the land and its resources. The so-called two-state solution has proven untenable. It was from the onset demoralized Palestinian resistance its failure resulted in the growth of extremism. Top-down solutions remain ineffective as long as one side continues as an occupying settler colonial power. The concept of a democratic confederation which transcends the flawed one-state or two-state solutions should be at the forefront of public discussions, both with and within Palestinian communities at the grassroots level. This approach is essential for achieving sustainable peace in critical regions like Palestine and should also be central focus of international movements. By naturally embodying these principles, the encampment movement is poised to potentially catalyze the advancement of this discourse for change. This is a model worth exploring and pursuing at home too. Anything short of genuinely democratic organization of society in the global north will invariably contribute to the imperialist agenda in the global south, as has already been the case. Let us briefly reflect on the recent government budget proposal that reveals a troubling pattern of resource allocation that aligns with the concepts of the Nakbatization of governance and the Gazatization of Australian working populations and their environments. The budget clearly prioritizes military and corporate interests, exemplified by a substantial $500 million contract awarded to Lockheed Martin, Australia, for missile defenses, which are implicated in the ongoing genocide. And we can imagine what sorts of roles will be given to the universities to play in this. Over the next decade, the budget's commitment to the so-called defense features a staggering $330 billion on new weapon systems, including long-range missiles, and plans to nearly double annual defense spending from $53 billion this financial year to $100 billion by 2034. The significant tax cuts for the wealthiest will reduce tax revenues and will lead to greater cuts in public services that primarily affect the most vulnerable segments of society. This financial focus not only mirrors the Zionist model of prioritizing military might and security apparatus at the expense of broader social and ecological well-being, but also perpetuates a global trend where working classes and marginalized communities bear the brunt of government austerity, effectively a Nakbatization. To counter such imperialist projects like the Israeli apartheid, there must also be a growing concerted effort to dismantle the apartheid regime of capitalist ruling classes at home. The reason we have genocidal foreign policies in our democracies is because democracy is already Nakbatized. Embracing models such as democratic confederalism would redirect focus and fund from militarization and corporate welfare to empowering local communities through robust public services. In the end, please allow me to reaffirm my praise for you and your cause, our cause. You are a vital part of this monumental effort, which is a reason for immense pride. You indeed embody the values our mainstream educational systems have failed to uphold. Thank you so much for that.